Hi everyone, my name is Abiola Bello. I'm so excited to be here and talk to you guys all about wild magic. Just a few things. If you enjoy today's session, teachers, I would love you to leave some feedback. There is a QR code that you should be able to see. We just want to hear what you guys thought about the session, and you'll be in a chance of winning some free books as well. There'll also be some polls happening, and there'll also be some live interactions happening. So let's get into it. So my journey to becoming an author was an interesting one. My mother did not want me to become an author. She wanted me to become a lawyer or a tennis player, not because I'm talented at tennis in any form of way. She just really enjoys tennis and I'm the last born. So that's what she wanted me to be. But my teacher at school in year 7, we had like a creative writing exercise. And afterwards she asked me, what do I want to be when I'm older? I said, a lawyer or a tennis player. And she said, why don't you become an author? And I said, is that a real job? And she said, yes, it is a real job. Someone will pay you money to write stories. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is incredible. That's exactly what I want to be. And so from 12 years old, I was like, I am going to be an author and figure out this life. And thank God I am here. And these are just the pictures of me as a kid, me and my mum and my siblings. So these are the children's books I have at the moment. So I've been very, very lucky. I've got a series called Emily Knight. I've got the Murder Club anthology, which has got 13 authors on it. And I've got the Wild Magic series. And I've also got the Rashford book series as well, which you can see at the back as well. And next year I have 2 more books coming out. One is a Rashford book and one is also Wild Magic. So keep an eye out for that one. So when I was young, there was a few books that I really enjoyed. I really loved the Babysitters Club series. I feel like the teachers remember the Babysitters Club. It was on Netflix for a minute as well. It's basically these children who for some reason are allowed to babysit other children. And there's like 50 books in this series. That was like my favorite book series. And when I was a kid, I used to write my own version of the Babysitters Club. So from about aged 8 years old, I would write my own version of that about me and my friends, just for fun. Never thought for a second I'd be an author. I also really love Judy Blume. She is an amazing author. And when I was a teenager, I felt like she really wrote great books that spoke to me as a teenage girl. And my favorite book was called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, which is a movie as well now. And Jacqueline Wilson has been around, I think, since the beginning of time, I feel like. And my favorite Jacqueline Wilson book is The Illustrated Mum. I think I just love the fact that it was these 2 sisters who had this mum who was really eccentric and they were just trying to help her. So I would love to know what you guys' favorite books are as well. So make sure you let me know in the comments. If you love wild magic and you want to know more about animals and about Africa and about magical adventures, I've got a few books to recommend to you guys. So we've got here Hamza's Wild World, which is a really cool book. And it's by Hamza Yassin. And it's got lots of great pictures in here, lots of facts about animals, and also about wildlife documentary presenters as well. So this is a really great book. Then you've got this one, which is Africa, Amazing Africa. I'm Nigerian, so of course I think Africa is amazing. And it's got lots of great, oh my gosh, I went straight to Ethiopia. I'm just in tune with this. And it's got lots of great facts about different countries in Africa. And there's also The Secret Beast Club by Robin Birch, which is about fantasy and magical superpowers. So if you want to know more about any books at all, I would recommend those 3 books. So I always get asked all the time, what is a book of mine I feel like represents me the most and what inspired those books? So I have a book series called Emily Knight. It was actually my first ever book I wrote. I wrote the first book when I was 12 years old. Can you believe it? I wrote it just for fun, and that was the first book that actually got published. And now I have 4 books in that series. So my favorite book in that series is Emily Knight, I Am Power, which came out recently. And it really is just like the big war, like the big battle, which I really love. And growing up, I really was into a lot of comic books. Before Marvel started making all the films, everything was comic books. And I really liked X-Men. I think I just liked that there was all these different young people with all these different superpowers. I feel like that's just what really engaged me a lot. There was an anime series that my brother was into, and he's the eldest, so therefore I was forced to watch it. It was called Dragon Ball Z, which is an anime. It's basically these warriors who protect the earth from evil. It's never really explained how they have these powers, but they're just really strong and really cool, and I love that series a lot. And I grew up watching wrestling as well. It used to be called WWF, now it's called WWE. And as a kid, I think I just found it fascinating that you could, slam someone through a table and they'd get back up. So those are the things that really intrigued me as a kid. And I couldn't really find books that had those elements in it. And that is what made me write Emily Knight. And thankfully, that was the start of my publishing journey. So, Wild Magic, here we go. So there are 2 books right now in the Wild Magic series. So the first one is Wild Magic Legend of the Black Lion, which is illustrated by Emma McCann. And it's about these 2 twins, Misha and Ziggy. Misha can speak to animals and Ziggy can shapeshift into animals. And their dad is a wildlife TV presenter. And he goes all over the world to find these animals and document them. And he is going to Ethiopia to find the legendary black lion. And the twins are not actually meant to come with him on the trip. But unfortunately, he can't find a babysitter. So they get to go on this great adventure. And they go and find the black lion called Jemba. But they're not the only ones looking for this creature. There are these very scary men, which are called poachers. And they are also finding the black lion to capture him and to potentially sell him for money. So we hope that the twins can use their magical gifts and get the whole jungle behind them to help get Jemba and keep him safe. And the second book in the series is Wild Magic Journey of the Lost Elephant, which is also illustrated by Emma McCann. And this time the twins go to India with their dad, and India is in Asia. They go to a place called Kerala and Tamil Nadu, and they are going to find the elephants who are migrating. And it's a really cool, fun journey. But unfortunately, the baby elephant, which is called the calf, has gone missing. So the twins have to try and find the baby elephant, which is called Shreya, and reunite with her family before they leave. So you've got to read the book to find out if the twins manage to help Shreya. So guys, we have a very fun poll question here coming up. This is where I need you guys to get online in the comments and pick your answer. So in Legend of the Black Lion, Misha and Ziggy are in Ethiopia and they get to stay in a tree house in the middle of the jungle, which is very, very cool. And I would love to know, what fun things would you like in your tree house? So get to voting. So you can pick number 1, which is a slide. Number 2, a trampoline, or number 3, a zip line. So I need you guys to vote, vote, vote. Get on it. You only have a few seconds to get in your voting. If you picked a slide, you want a slide to go from the top of the treehouse all the way through the jungle right to the ocean, which I think is a very cool water slide, isn't it? A trampoline, so you can jump and you can see the entire jungle right from the air, which would be very cool. Or a zip line, which I feel like could work as well as a slide, but a zip line would start higher and would be faster. So if you're someone who likes a bit of an adrenaline rush, a zip line might be the best one for you. So make sure you vote, vote, vote. You have a few seconds left to get in there. Okay, and the winning answer is a zip line. So all you adrenaline junkies there, you voted for the quickest way to get from the treehouse into the water. And to be honest with you, I completely agree with you. I'd be right there with you on the zip line. Right, guys, we have an activity coming up. So I need you guys, again, you're going to be quite quick with this one. I need you lot to think about, if you were like Ziggy and you could change into an animal, what would you choose? If you're in your classroom, you're going to put your hand up and you're going to tell your teacher, what would you choose if you could turn into any animal? If it was me, gosh, what would I turn into? I feel like this is quite random. I feel like I would turn into a Siberian tiger. I'm being very specific here. A Siberian tiger. because I don't feel like I know that much about them, but they're very beautiful, they're very cool, they're very rare. So I feel like if I want to turn to animal, I want to be something that's like super rare. So make sure you tell your teacher what animal you would love to turn into. And remember, animals are all over. They could be in the air, on the ground, in the sea. They could be big, they could be small. If you have pets, maybe you want to turn into your pet or turn into a companion for your pet. So your pet has a new friend. So make sure you let your teacher know what animal you would like to turn into. Now, the next activity is, if you could speak to animals just like Misha, which animal would you talk to and what would you ask them? So again, I feel like if you have pets at home, this is a great one. I had a cat that I raised from 8 weeks old to almost 15 years old. He was a little terror, that cat. And he did many things that confused me. For example, every morning without fail, I would wake up and my cat would be right here in front of my face every morning without fail. So a question I would ask my cat is, why are you always in my face early in the morning? So it might be something really funny or silly that your pet does at home that you would love to know what they're doing. My neighbor's dog just will be barking at midnight and I would love to know, why are you barking at midnight? What is happening? Why aren't you sleeping? I have many questions for the dog next door. So if you guys have any questions for any animals, I want you to put your hand up and let your teacher know what it is. And it could be any animal in the world. Any single animal. I would love to know, from flies, why do you come into everyone's house and never know how to get out of the house? I would love to know that. So it's like really fun, silly questions you can think of. Make sure you ask your teacher because they would love to know. Okay, the next activity, and this one involves any artists out there, anyone who loves to draw. Again, you don't have to be the best drawer. It's not a competition. You could do stick animals or whatever you want to do. It doesn't need to be anything perfect, I promise you. But for anyone who loves to draw, I want you to think about the animal that you chose earlier, the animal that you would like to have turned into, or even an animal that you would like to have spoken to. And I want you to draw them, and I want you to write a speech bubble and say, what would the animal say back to you? So if I picked a fly, for example, and a fly is very easy to draw, by the way. If I picked a fly and I said, why do you keep flying into everyone's houses and you don't know how to get out of the house? You can put a response back on what you think the fly would say. I think the fly would just say, I cannot find the way out. I don't think they do it on purpose. I think they just can't see how to get out of the house. So think about what fun thing you think the animal would say back to you. My cat was a very, very sassy cat. He had a bit of an attitude, this cat did. So I feel like if I asked him, why are you always in my face in the morning? I think he would just say, because I want to be in your face in the morning. That's exactly what he would say. So write down and draw your animal and think about what they would say. I'd give you a bit of time to do that, but remember, it doesn't need to be perfect. There's no time for very fun shading and coloring in. We just want a really cool outline of an animal or just like a little stick thing, whatever you want to do. And just think, more importantly, what would the animal say back to you? So have a think about that. I'll give you a little bit of time to focus on that one. And if you are really great at drawing, then you have the time to do something very speedy and cool and draw your best animal. If I was you guys, I would pick something really simple, like a fly or an ant. Something really just easy to draw. That's what I would do. So have a think about that one. I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. Remember, it doesn't need to be perfect because we don't even have time for that anyway. So just quickly draw something and think about what the animal would say. Right, I hope you wrapped that up. So right now you should have had an animal that you want to shapeshift to, an animal you'd like to speak to, and an animal that you've drawn and you've also thought about what they would say to you. And if you didn't have time to finish any of that, Don't worry about it. Keep your piece of paper safe and you'll have time later on today to finish that off. So don't stress if you haven't finished it. And don't stress if you're still like, I'm still thinking about the first activity. That's also fine. Don't worry about it. You're going to have time to finish it off, okay? Right, we have another poll question for you guys. So again, you've got to be really speedy in the comments. If you have an opinion, you got to get your votes in there, okay? The question is, right, so most of the story, Legend of the Black Lion, is set in Ethiopia, which is in Africa. So which of these statements is not true? Okay, is not true. Number 1, Ethiopia is in East Africa. Number 2, it's the year 2025, as we know. It is also 2025 in Ethiopia. Or the third question is, leopards live in Ethiopia. So you've got 3 to pick from, okay? Just pick whatever you think is best. So Ethiopia is in East Africa. It is 2025 in Ethiopia. Leopards live in Ethiopia. So make sure you get your you get your answers in really, really quickly. We only have a few seconds. So I hope you guys are voting in the polls, okay? No arguing. Just quickly vote, vote, vote. And I'll let you guys know which one is the winning one, okay? You've got a few seconds. Get your votes in. Okay, so I've got the answer here, guys. Most of you voted that leopards live in Ethiopia, and that's what you thought was not true. So, unfortunately, that is wrong. Leopards do live in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is in East Africa. So number 2 was the correct answer. It is not 2025 in Ethiopia. I know, it's very shocking, isn't it? So Ethiopia is a very interesting country and they have a completely different calendar to what we have. So I will tell you the year it is in Ethiopia. You're going to be like, what? It is the year 2018 in Ethiopia. Yes, 2018. So if anyone ever wanted to time travel and go back to the past, if you got on a plane to Ethiopia, you are going back in time. Isn't that really cool? So they have a completely different calendar to us. So it's currently 2018 in Ethiopia. They also have their New Year's in September, not in December. It's a very interesting country. So go and do some research on Ethiopia, and I promise you, you're going to be like, wow, this is very, very, very cool. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys a bit about the black lion. So I've had a few young people ask me if the black lion is a real thing. I promise you, the black lion is a real animal. It is very rare. So the black lion lives in Ethiopia and it also lives in South Africa in the desert. Those are the only places you would ever find a black lion. And even then, it's so rare and hard to find. You'd have to look really, really hard to get one. A black lion is actually bigger than a normal lion. And when I say a normal lion, I mean the lions that you'd see on a documentary, in the zoo, Simba, you know, like a normal lion. So a black lion is actually bigger than a normal lion. And they have a really dark mane, like super dark, almost black-like mane. They also have a louder roar than a normal lion. So if you ever heard a lion roar and it's loud and it's powerful, a black lion has a louder and more powerful roar. So basically a black lion is like way more dangerous than a normal lion, and they're also bigger than a normal lion. So they're very, very rare. They're very dangerous, if I'm honest with you. But in my book, Jemba, he is very kind and very loving, and he just wants to enjoy his time in the jungle. And because they are so rare, this is why you have poachers who want to try and get them and try and sell them because they are so special. So black lions do exist. So we have a fun game here. Teachers, I'm going to apologize in advance for the noise that's going to happen, okay? Right, kids, this is your moment to really shine, okay? This is your moment to be as loud as you want to be because I want to find out Who can do the best lion roar? Yes. So we're not going to roar right now. No, no, no. Don't roar right now. We're not going to scare your teachers, okay? You're going to put your hand up and your teacher's going to pick 3 people, okay? Just 3 people. And I want you to do the best lion roar, the loudest, most roar you can think of, okay? And the class is going to pick who had the best roar, okay? So teachers, pick your 3 young people to stand up. Give them a count in of 3, 2, 1, and they are going to roar one by one. And then the class are going to pick who has the best lion roar. So go for it. Go for it, go for it. You have a few seconds to do that. I have done this in many schools, and oh my gosh, the noise is amazing. It is amazing. I've heard small little roars, and I've heard really loud roars. I've heard a roar that went on for 10 seconds. It was an insane roar. And right now I can hear all the roars, and it's so noisy and it's amazing. So make sure you're giving your best lion roar, okay? And teachers, I'm very sorry again. Okay, hopefully we've got all our roaring out. Hopefully all the lions in the room got all that energy out of them. Okay, so right, sit back down. We have another activity, okay? So we're gonna do what's called a character card. And this is something that you're going to fill out on your piece of paper because I want to know what you guys think. Because Mish and Ziggy are gonna go on another adventure, and that means we're going to need another new animal to focus on. So I've had the lion, I've had the elephant. I want to know what you guys think in terms of what the next animal should be. I want to know what you think they're going to look like as well. So on your character card, you're going to let me know what they look like, and we're going to share some important facts. And I'll go through it all. So we're going to do this together, okay? So get your piece of paper. First of all, before you draw anything, I want you to think of a name for your character. Excuse me. I want you to think about, is it a boy or is it a girl? And I want you to think of a really, really cool, fun name for your animal, okay? So have a think about that. And I want you to think about, sorry, not your animal, of your person. You're going to think of a cool name for your person. My apologies. You can name it after yourself if you want to. And you're going to think of the age as well. So Mish and Ziggy, they're about 8 years old. So 8 might be a good age to use. So think about an age for your character. And I want you to think about what your character's favourite animal is. It could be a cat, a dog, a gerbil, a cheetah, a hawk, a whale, a dolphin, a Siberian tiger. It could be anything you want it to be, okay? Think about what your character's favorite animal is going to be. And then I want you to think about a superpower, right? So remember with the twins, their powers are a secret. Their dad doesn't know they can do all this amazing stuff, okay? Their dad has no idea about it, bless him. So I want you guys to think about what power would your character have, okay? It could be anything. It could be flying. It can be being able to breathe underwater. It could be teleportation. You can go from one place to another. It can be anything you want it to be, yeah? Or you can also use the same gifts as Mish and Ziggy. They can shapeshift or they can talk to animals, okay? So pick a superpower for your character, okay? Just write the first thing down. You can always change it later, okay? And then I want to think about the country that your character wants to visit. There's so many countries in the world. So what country do you think your character would like to go to? It could be anywhere, okay? Right now we're in England, so let's leave England out of it, okay? It could be anywhere in the world. So they can go to Nigeria, which is where I'm from. They can go to Hawaii. They can go to Japan, South Africa, Kenya, Jamaica, Australia, China. I mean, there's so many places in the world to go to. So have a think about what country, and maybe it could be the country that you're from, that your parents are from that you could put on there. Or somewhere you went on holiday that you really loved. Maybe you could put that down, okay? So we're putting down the name of the character, the age of the character's favorite animal, a secret power, a superpower they have, just pick one, and the country they most want to visit. Okay, you're going to write that down on your sheet of paper. Again, if you change your mind later, it's fine. You can always amend it. If you feel like you haven't got enough time to think, that's also okay. Because sometimes I don't think I have enough time to think, and that's okay. Just take a minute. It's fine. Do what you can fill out, and you can come back to it later. Sometimes you need a second to think about, what country do I want to go to? And maybe you need to kind of walk around school for a bit before it clicks, and that's also fine, okay? Just fill out what you can fill out, and it's something that you can sort out later, all right? And you're going to share that with your teacher, okay? Right, guys, I think this might be our last poll question, okay? So if at any point today you feel like I didn't get to vote, my vote didn't count, okay, this is your last chance, all right? So this time you're going to vote, and you're going to be super quick about it, all right? So far, the Wild Magic series has taken Ziggy and Misha to Africa, Asia, and North America, because the third book is in North America, so remember that. So which continent, not country, which continent would you like to see them visit next? You have number 1, Antarctica, number 2, Oceania, or 3, South America, okay? If you're like, I have no idea what any of these words mean, it's also okay. Just pick what one sounds cool to you and what sounds the most fun to say. Just pick that, okay? So you're going to quickly vote in on the poll. Remember, it's quick. So if you haven't voted yet, you need to vote now. You've got Antarctica, Oceania, or South America. So quickly vote in the poll. And I will let you guys know which one is the winning one. Are you ready to hear which one is won? Okay, anyone who voted for number 3, which is South America, that is the one that you're saying you want to focus the next book in. I'm going to remember that. Don't worry about it. And hopefully the next book will be in South America. So I hope you guys managed to get all your voting in at least once today. Right, this is an extension activity for you guys to do when you have some time. If you've enjoyed today, you want to kind of do a bit more about wild magic, about animals, this is something really fun that you guys can do. I want you to research the country that your character wants to visit. So on your character card, you wrote down a country on it. We do a bit of research about that country, because every country is really, really cool, really interesting, and there's something so fun about every country that's so unique to that country. So I want you to spend a bit of time in research and find some fun facts about that country, and note down details that will help you create your story with this new character that you wrote about earlier on your character card, okay? And think about a few things. So you're going to think about the climate. What is it like there? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it snow a lot? Does it never snow? Does it usually have a lot of rain, like England? Think about what the climate is like there, okay? Think about the landscape. What does it look like? You know, when you're writing your story, we need to feel like we're there. So think about the landscape of it. And what animals live there? That's really important, okay? You need to think about the country you pick. Does an animal live there that I can write about? Excuse me. For example, in Australia known for having kangaroos and koala bears that you can really only find in Australia, okay? So if you set your book in, I don't know, Sweden, we probably won't find a kangaroo or a koala bear. So that's why you want to do some research and find out what animals live there. And I think you're going to make a really cool and really fun story, and I cannot wait to read it, okay? So have lots of fun doing all your research for your new book. Thank you so much for listening for me. I hope you've had fun. I really hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you have any questions, let me know. But I know some questions were sent in earlier. So I'm going to go through a few of them as well. And if you have any burning questions, you're like, oh, please answer this, you can put it in the comments and hopefully I'll have time to answer it, okay? But I'm hoping that the bowl I have here with questions, it'll be something that you wanted to know as well, and everyone's going to be happy about it, okay? So let's pick one here. This is from Springfield Primary School. Hi, Springfield Primary School. So, how do you find your creative ideas? Was the question. That's a very good question. So I actually write books for children and for teenagers, so a wide range of ages I do. And I think I just think about what are kids and teenagers into at the moment. I talk to a lot of young people and I just see what are they watching, what are they interested, what was a book that they loved, why did they love it. That kind of helps a lot with the creative ideas. I also think about what have I not read about. So, for example, with Wild Magic, I hadn't read a book yet about young people, animals, superpowers, going to different countries. I hadn't really read a book like that. I've seen a show like that before. There's a cartoon that I grew up on called The Wild Thornberrys. It was on Nickelodeon as a kid. And it was about this family who went to these different countries and one of them could speak to animals. And it was so fun. It's a great cartoon. And I remember thinking, I've never read a book similar to this cartoon. And so I thought, I'll write it. So that's kind of how I come up with my ideas. I think about what have I not seen yet, and then I try and see if I can write the book. So hopefully that helps you guys. Thank you for the great question. Okay, let's pick another one here. This is from Broadfield Primary Academy. Let's have a bit of water, guys. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cough, so apologies. Okay, Broadfield Primary Academy. What do you enjoy about writing books? That's a good question. I just enjoy making things up, to be honest with you. I like that you can just create these characters and bring them to life. I love that you can talk about important issues like poaching, for example, but do it in a way that is easy for young people to understand, but the whole book can still be really fun, even though it's a serious topic. I enjoy just thinking of random things in my head, writing them down, and I enjoy that young people seem to like it. It's a really fun job to have, and I don't know if any of you guys want to write books or tried to write a story or written one before, but I think if you have and you've enjoyed it, there's something really special about bringing words together and creating something new. So I hope if you guys have like a wanting to write any books, you guys will go for it, and I really look forward to reading it one day as well. Okay, this is from Hillyfield Primary Academy. Does it make you happy when you write a book? It makes me very happy when I write a book. It does. I do enjoy when I get a brand new idea and I get really excited. It's not great if I'm currently writing a book and then my brain thinks of another idea. That's not good because I get excited about the new idea and then it gets very confusing. But whenever I get a new idea about a book, I'm super excited about it. And I just love figuring out how to bring it together. Because writing a book is kind of like a puzzle. I might know the ending, I might know the beginning, but I'm like, how do they get from here to here? And I just think every time I write a book, I'm like, oh, how do I get them from here to here? And, you know, I always figure it out, and it is always a really fun process. So it is a really fun job. So if you want to be an author, I'm telling you now, it is a fun job to be an author. This is from Reddle Hill Primary School. Who is your favourite author? Oh, who is my favourite author? Who is my favourite author? I feel like I have a few. I'm trying to think of a kid's author that I really, really like. Oh, I really like Benjamin Dean. He writes really fun children's books. One I read recently was called The Boy Who Fell from the Sky. And that was a really fun, and the cover's really pretty as well. So I really like Ben's books a lot. He also writes for older kids as well. And I thought he's really good at swapping between the two. So he's one of my favorite authors. When I get sent a Ben Dean book, I'm always really happy to read it. So I will say Benjamin Dean is one of my favorite authors. Oh, another one from Hillyfield Primary Academy said, why is it a black lion? So I'm guessing maybe that means, why did I pick a black lion? Which is a good question, because why did I pick a black lion? It's very rare and kind of random. So there was this image of a black lion, like a jet black lion, like all over its body, that went viral on the internet like some years ago. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, black lions exist. Who thought about it? It was like a whole thing. And I got really obsessed. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's a black lion. How did no one ever know there were black lions in the world? Basically, it turned out it was photoshopped. It wasn't a real black lion, unfortunately. But when I looked more into it, I did find that black lions did exist. Not in the way I thought, where they were like jet black all over. It was more just the mane, and they were bigger and, more dangerous. All the things I said earlier. And they lived mainly in Ethiopia. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. I didn't know these things were real. How come it's never really spoken about? These are really cool. And I feel like as humans, we all really love lions. I think like we're all quite like interested in lions. A black lion is super interesting. So I wanted to kind of spread some light on a black lion. And I also wanted to talk about Ethiopia. I feel like it's a country that I don't really see represented in books. And once I got into reading about Ethiopia, doing my research, I just thought it was fascinating. Like the whole calendar being different, them living in a different year than us because they want to. I just thought that was amazing. That alone was amazing to me. So I thought it was a really cool country and it was a really cool animal, and it just made sense to do that. So yeah, that's why I picked a black lion. Okay. This is from Glenbrook Primary School. And they asked, what part of being an author is the hardest and what keeps you going? Oh, Glenbrook, that's a very loaded question, isn't it? What part of being an author is the hardest? What part is the hardest? I think the hardest part of being an author is I might love an idea and no one else likes the idea. So I might go to, so if I have a book idea, I have to go to my agent, who's basically like my manager, and I'll tell her the idea. And I have to get her to be like, yes, this is great, before I can start writing the book. Then we might love the idea. This has happened. We've loved the idea. I've written the book. She's been like, this is amazing, Then it gets sent to all the publishers in the country, and they're the ones who are responsible for saying yes to the book and then actually making the book. And they might not like the book. And then that can be like, oh, okay. So that's probably the hardest if I really love a book and my agent might say she doesn't like it, she doesn't think it's going to work well. Or what's worse is she does like it and then it's just me and her that like it and the publishers don't like it. So that's quite hard to be like, oh, okay, that didn't work out great. And sometimes I can figure it out and change it a bit to make it work. But sometimes it's like, oh, it's just me that liked it. That's okay. What keeps you going? I just really love writing books, to be honest. I think I've realised now, not every idea I have is going to be amazing, as much as I think it will be. It's not always amazing. And sometimes it's timing. Maybe it's just like not what everyone wants to read right now. Maybe in a few years, people will love my random story about whatever the story idea is. Sometimes it's a timing thing as well, but I just generally just love writing books, and I'll write it for as long as I can, really. So yeah, hope that answered your question. I think I have time for a few more questions. Hopefully these are questions people are like, yeah, I want to know that, hopefully. This is from Elizabeth Woodville Primary School. Hello, guys. And the question was, who is your favourite character you've created? That's a really hard one, I think, because I've created quite a lot of characters and I really like them all. But I don't really like when people don't give you like a straight answer, so I'll give you a straight answer. So my favourite character I've created, I will say, is my first book, which was the Emily Knight series. And it's she's my favorite character because for several reasons. One, because I hadn't read about a girl like her before. She was very strong and fierce and brilliant, and she looked like me, which I hadn't read a lot of books with girls that looked like me. And at the time I wrote her, girls weren't really main characters in books. It was really the boys. You know, when I was a kid, that's when Harry Potter came out. So it was really about these really these boys who were really the star of the show, and the girls are kind of like helping them, you know, like the brains, you know, kind of helping them along. So I felt like my character was very different in that sense. And also she's my favorite because she started this whole journey. I've had her since I was 12 years old. So she's very special to me. And I think if I didn't write her, I don't know if I'd be here right now talking to you guys about Misha and Ziggy. So yeah, I would probably say Emily Knight is a good one. I think I have time for maybe 2 more questions. So I'll pick 2 more. And I'm really sorry if I didn't get to your question, but you can always send me an email. I'm always happy to answer. Let me just grab this 1 second. Oh, I like this one. Oh, actually, hold on, no. Oh, I like this one a lot. This is Glenbrook Primary School again. If one of your characters came to life for a day, who would you pick and what would you do together? Okay. Again, this is a difficult one, but I think I would pick Ziggy because I find Ziggy so funny and so silly. And I feel like he's always up to do anything. He will shapeshift into any creature. He'll have the best time. And I feel like he'll just take me along for the ride. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if he turned into a dolphin and I'd be like, Ziggy, I want to swim with you around the ocean, he'd be like, okay. Like, he won't overthink it. That might be a bad thing because it might be a bit dangerous. And I don't think Ziggy would think about the danger. I think Misha would think about the danger. But I think I would have a lot of fun with Ziggy and the shapeshifting. So I would pick Ziggy if I could hang out with anyone for the day. And the last question I will pick. Gosh, it's Glenbrook again. You guys are just very popular today. So if you give one piece of advice to kids who want to write, what would it be? I will give you the same piece of advice I was given as a kid, which is you can do anything that you want to do. So if you want to write a book, you just need to write a book. I would say don't overthink it. Don't try and write the best book in the world because honestly, what is the best book in the world? Like, that's, you know, that's opinions and stuff. I think write something that you are passionate about. Write about a book that you haven't read before. Or if it's even your favorite book, but put your own twist to it and bring yourself into the book. Like, there's something very special and unique and brilliant about you. And we want to read it. Maybe you're someone who... It could be something you think isn't a good thing. Maybe you're not great at maths, for example. Write about a kid who's not great at maths. Maybe you struggle to read books. Write about a kid who struggles to read books. You know, like write about things about you in a book because that's what makes a book super interesting. And what's great about writing is the more you write, the better you get at it as well. So, you know, you'll write your story today and by the time you become an adult, you're going to be like, amazing. So I would say start today, write that book idea and have a good time writing it because books are meant to be fun. So if it's stressing you out, don't let it stress you out. Just write it for fun and you just never know. I wrote books for fun and now I'm an author. You know, life is funny like that. So just write whatever you want to write and I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me today. I hope you had fun in my world of wild magic. I had a great time talking to you guys as well. Teachers, if you enjoyed yourselves today or the young people did, we would love to get your feedback. There is a QR code and we would love to just know what you thought of the session. And remember, you'd be a chance of winning a free set of books. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.